And shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, the pastor over here with Lost Sheep of Israel and also with King James Bible University. And I want to welcome everyone here today. And today we're going to be going through Proverbs. We're going to be going through a very interesting part of Proverbs to look at that. But I do want to address something where we made an announcement, which I'm going to make it again here. Right now, we actually opened up King James Bible University, also Precept Mastery, and where we're going to open it up to where everyone can actually come through. And this is black, white, anyone, purple, green, where we're opening up the avenues to where they can actually come back there and get the materials that we provide, that we do the teachings in the back. And it's really interesting. And the reason why it's interesting, I want to show you some piece of text which I received, and we're going to address it, but it's not really to reprimand the person in any way, shape, or form, but just to show you how we actually are as a whole. And right now I'm showing you this here is from this Grace Doobie, and she's saying this, and says, "Thank you very much for the lesson, but I am concerned about certain things that you have mentioned concerning changes. You have mentioned that the sisters worked hard on their presentations and get few views. And she's right on some of it, but incorrect on some of it also. Because what we said is they do a lot of work, but we took the time and signed up a lot of people. But once our people actually get something, they normally just look for to make that accomplishment, and then they just choose not to do something. That's what we was talking about. So it says, so I decided to bring all. So you decided to bring all other nations. So that's what she's saying. I decided, but you're going to see I'm responding to her also. So I decided to bring all other nations. Okay, that's your decision. But isn't the Most High gives the increase? We're going to address that in 1 second. And it says, we do the work and he pays us at the end of the day. According to what you say, your channel goes up and down, which I actually told her that at the end of my comment. My channel goes up and down, and I pushed that. And it says, and why does it matter if only certain percentage of people take advantage of the sister's work? That's what I want you to pay attention to. Because she's saying no matter how much work they put out to make sure people can get it, and people always ask for it, but then she don't know the emails that we get, that I get in abundance, and the phone calls I get in abundance. She don't know those things, and people ask the same identical questions, and they even look for those notes the same way. This stuff she's oblivious to that. But it says, then really, do you care about the numbers? That's what she's saying. It says, you have elders sending off teachings weekly with not many views. So now she's going to throw a little rock, but it doesn't matter. It says, but continue to bring them to us. None of them come off with such statements as yourself, but she don't know this platform for King James Bible University. Once I have made the decision, all platforms actually is going to be switching to that. But technically she don't know this. And then it says, but let me say, by saying, let me go preach to the heathens, you may have to change your channel name, House of the Lost Sheep of Israel, Shalom. But it just shows you how much somebody who comes over, and this is the first time I've ever seen her even post anything here. But I want to show you something to make sure we clearly understand where it's coming from. And then I want to make a comment before we address it. But I commented, I've addressed her back. And I told her this, and I said, first, you need to have a solid understanding of the verses in question. Because what I was doing was the same thing with the verses that's in question is basically what we're doing on this alone. Because when we sit there and we do a lot of work and we're making sure people is getting the benefit, that's one thing. Now, what people also got to understand is this. Most people, it going to shock a lot of people. I done said this before, and I said it many times before. What a lot of people don't know, on the other side, on King James Bible University, most people don't know, the majority of that channel side is not black people. I even hate to say it, but they're not black. They are the other nations. And I had an email to even prove it. And most people don't know. We have a lot of Jewish people support the channel. We have a lot of white people support the channel. We have a lot of Indians support the channel. We have a lot of Mexicans support the channel. We have a lot of different people support the channel. They don't pay anything over here, but I'm just saying, they come over here and they get content. We don't have an issue with it. And most of them they even came to the back and they didn't have no issue, in which we didn't. So did they get anything different? No, they were still getting the same thing everybody else gets on the front. But the difference was the stuff that we were doing in the back, we was making it private to a lot of our people, but it was issues. So guess what? We just opened up to anybody else. And I got a comment I'm going to make with that in a second. But what I did, I went on the right. I said, the verse is in question, yet this is not the appropriate venue for you to make a request to have your name changed, To begin, you should make it a priority to study and comprehend the Bible. That's what you came over here for. Understand that. That's the full understanding on everything that we do. Understand, comprehend the Bible. Understand that. Don't worry about the changes. And it says, sin, even how individuals like yourself do so when something similar to occur and it is greater than you, which what we're doing is way greater than myself and her. And it says, do you understand directly from the Bible? Because basically, I'm going to show her exactly what she's saying, but she actually should be telling that to God. In Deuteronomy chapter, I got that in there. It says Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21. It says, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They may provoke me to anger, and with their vanities, I will move them to jealousy, which are not my people. I will provoke them with a foolish nation. It was what the Most High saying this out of his own mouth. And then we looked at Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19 through 21. And this is really the focus on what's happening. And he said, I will set a sign among them. And he's going to set it among the Gentiles. And I'm going to show you something that's really weird. And he says, I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. So people who done escape bondage of the mind, these things, he's going to send them out to the nations, but he's going to send them to Tarshish. I want you to understand what he's talking about. Tarshish. we're going to be looking at Tarshish and a couple of other ones, but he's saying they're going to go to Tarshish, and he's going to send them to Pud, and he's going to send them to Lud. Now, Pud and Lud look just like us, but everybody else don't look nothing like us. He says that draw the bow, and he's telling us right up front, to Tubal, to Javan, to the isles far off, these people do not look like us. These are 100% Gentiles. And he said that have not heard my fame. So what is happening? What is happening here is really still a phenomenon. When you look at people even like myself, to where you have where these people that is here, they have very high prestigious educations. Many people, many of them, you'll see a lot of them in prominent positions who attended Harvard and MIT, places such as that, to be in prominent positions. And what he's saying here is they're not seen as fame, because you'll see people like myself, even some of the other brothers that are here, where we didn't come up that way, but we can go through detailed information in the Bible and actually unrival mysteries of parables in the Bible. That's a fame that's unheard of, because normally you still have to go to a school to do that. So it says, neither has seen my glory, including they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. Exactly the point. He says, and then the way it's talking about those Gentiles, because you see he got Javan and all them included, which you see in Deuteronomy. And actually I can pull that up in 1 second. But it says in verse 20, it says, and they should bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Spirit of God out of all nations, upon horses, in the chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain, Jerusalem, saith the Spirit of God. Comparing the children of Israel being an offering in clean vessels unto the house of the Spirit of God. Verse 21, and I will take of them for priests and for Levites, said the Spirit of God. In my last part I said, it seems you have a problem with God, not with me, which that's where the problem is. And I say, finish out, I say, but we here, but we are not here based on views, which I'm not. But she's trying to make it think that I'm doing that for views, and I'm not. I say, or for views or personal opinion. Always remember one thing: this channel goes up and down, which it does. And the reason I made that statement even that way, people need to understand one thing. One thing people need to really understand, and why it's so important. See, we never stopped doing anything. People was always able to come here. And what she's saying in whole, in the same thing, you have some people who, if they have a dime, they hide it. And they don't want no one else to see that dime. This is why those things are happening. People don't want you to see that dime, so they'll hide the dime because they feel you shouldn't have the dime. This is part of the issue. So this is why we was dealing with that. But then you have people in America, in what they was doing then even back then. You see white people in America, and we attend their schools. I want you to keep this in mind. We attend their schools. We attend many other places they go. But do you see it stopping them from getting the positions that you actually mostly want? No. No, it don't stop them. And we a lot of us have the knowledge to work on Wall Street, but who's running Wall Street? See, one thing we do dominate, and we more than 70%, we dominate basketball, which guys are paid very well for what they do. But one thing you got to remember, and never forget this, we sign those checks. Those basketball players sign checks on the back, showing they are employees. Those other owners sign their checks on the front. So when we look at this and you have escaped these things and people have issues such as this, and they want to voice out where they thinking that for some reason you go into a people and they don't have the chance. Now, like, they can't get some information. The information always been available to you, but you just choose not to, but you don't want other people to have it, which is crazy. So the thing is this. See, we don't go to BET, where BET is owned by a white group. And they show all types of homosexuality. They show all kind of bestiality. They show everything contrary to what you want to see, but you don't see it on dominant white channels. But you won't sit there and say anything about that. Even though when the man sold it, you still won't say nothing about it. You won't say nothing about Tyler Perry, who dresses as a woman and portrays that and teaches your kids that as they grow up. You don't say anything about that. The same thing with Oprah. You don't say the same thing about Jay-Z, who was a drug dealer and he grew up and now he became a billionaire, but most people, you guys sit there and you look up to him. These things you guys don't have a problem with. And then the same thing is we'll sit there and think when these black people, and these are prominent people who has money in the arena, can do certain things, but they'll hold it and they'll wait till people are dead. The same thing with Black Wall Street, which we know what happened in Oklahoma. They still got a few more people who was children there when that happened, and I know I think one is over 100 years old. But as soon as they die off, I promise you, you're going to see BET, Tyler Perry, or Oprah Winfrey. You're going to see them make a movie because now everybody there, so now they can ad-lib it, and then they can make some other colored people heroes, as if they saved someone. So the same thing here. We're here to educate. We're here to teach people what the Bible says. And the thing is always never change. We always teach to Israel. That's regardless of the point. But the thing is, you need to worry about your spot. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about your spot. You get in your spot. You're worried about the small stuff too much. But the same thing is when we look at that, the same as we see on a lot of this, and this is one of our biggest issues. We love to get in everybody else's business based on these things. And the same thing, like I showed you, you'll see this where he's talking about here, where I showed you in the verses. One second, there go my mouse right there. But he's telling you right here where you will see the sign among them, but you can see it clearly here. And we know Javan is clearly from Japhet. But people do have these problems. So my thing always be, worry about your spot. Worry about you getting to the kingdom. And stop worrying about when you float by this channel and you see something like that and you see, oh, well, this guy, he's one of the top preceptors right now recognized in the world that now he's talking about he's going to teach to everybody. I dare him. No, you can get off of that. You can get off of that. And what most people need to know before I even start going into the lesson, we had the Jewish people. They, same thing with the books. I'm not worried about them supporting the books, but they was one of the biggest buyers of the book. Now, my own people, and I got elders, and you can see some of them might even put what I'm getting ready to say. They might even put some of that stuff because they knew what I experienced when I put the book out. And once I put the book out, we had a lot of people who had a lot of issues with it because they felt I should be giving them the book. This is us as a whole. This is us. They felt they should have had the book. They believe anything that we put out, they should get completely free. Even though they have books and everything else that they buy from other people. But once I did it, they said, wait a minute, why are you doing this? We had one person sitting there saying, I would not allow you to sell my father's word. And they have a Bible and they went and bought their Bible from somewhere else. That's stupidity. Ignorance. So we need to understand what we're doing. We need to completely understand what we're doing. But we have an issue with people as a whole because we as a people, as soon as someone do something, and the same thing is, we actually have some of our own books right now. We have some King James Bible University, some Precept Mastery Bibles right now. The only reason I won't put them out because right now we have so many other of our people have an issue. But the main thing is we're the only one with the issue. We worried about what the next man doing. Besides worrying about trying to get into the kingdom. We worried about what everybody else is doing. Same as this lady here. She's worried about them getting the word, which they've been getting it the entire time. She's upset. Oh, you should change the name. No, the channel goes up now. Just go find you another channel. It's that simple. So we are going to open that up later to where, later on this week, where if people want to voice anything, you can go ahead and voice it. It's not going to change nothing, but you're more than welcome to voice it. You're more than welcome to voice it. But we're going to deal with this here, and we're going to look at Proverbs. Because with Proverbs and based on what's happening, has a lot to do with what's going on. In Proverbs, we picking this up at Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. It's right here. I need to change the color of that. Let me change the color of that. And we want to get some understanding here. It says wisdom is the principal thing, full understanding here. That's a full understanding right there. That's full thought. It says, therefore get wisdom. He's going to clarify it, including with all thy getting, get understanding. That says a lot. That says quite a bit. And something each and every one of us we're going to dig into this and get a real good understanding on that. Because when we sit there, wisdom, I want you to write this down. Make sure, as them sisters put in there, make sure you have a pencil and paper because we need you to write this stuff down so you can go back and study it. But wisdom have a wide range that can be defined a lot of different ways. But we're going to define it to where you can pinpoint it, to where you can understand the way of the Bible. So when we're looking at wisdom, we're going to put in there, I want you to put wisdom of God. Now, we know wisdom have a wide range of meanings, but we're going to look at wisdom of God. Everybody with me? I want everybody to make sure you're writing it down. Once you got it down, just say yes, but I will need to make sure you're writing this down. Say wisdom of God. You once you got that down, we're going to keep on moving. Once you have that down, because this is what I want you to do for me. Because we got to put in work. We have a lot of work to put in. And we've been slacking off for more than 400 years. For more than 400 years, we've been slacking off, and we got to bunk up. We got to get with this. So what we doing? We got wisdom of God. Now with that, I want you to put a colon there because we're gonna clarify it. And with this clarification, we have to do this all together. So we're gonna put his mystery. You put that there. A defense. We have to put that there. See, this is something that gives life. Just put that there, and we're going to start defining all that together. It's a mouthful, but we're going to define it all together. Wisdom is the principal thing. That's the key. And we're looking at the wisdom of God. So once we understand the knowledge, including the judgments, and the judgments is nothing but the doctrines and the teaching, now we understanding what the principal things we have to go through, because wisdom is the head, it's the chief, to know the difference of salvation and damnation. Everybody with me? I need you to stay with me on this because we're gonna start defining this clearly. So once we understand the knowledge, the judgment, the doctrines, and the teaching, wisdom is the head, it's the chief of knowing the difference of salvation and damnation, to where we can make clear choices on which direction we're going to go. We can go down the road of salvation, or we can go down the road of damnation. And once we understand the principle of this, we are going to make clear choices. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So wisdom is the principle. So it's the beginning or the chief. It's the thing. And what we have to look at is the choicest fruits for harvest. So this is why it talks about first fruit, but we're going to grab the choicest fruits of the harvest, or a gift to be offered. A gift to be offered. We getting ready to get in some deep water, but I'm hoping that everybody stays with me to where nobody won't drown. And we want to understand what's happening. So this is the choice thing. And I want to show you an example here. We're going to look at an example. In Exodus chapter 30, we want 30, but we want verse 23. We want verse 23. We're going to see something. We're going to look at something. We're going to pick it up. This one's blue too. I think I did them all blue, so I do apologize. I'm going to go in there and change them all because I want them all yellow. And this one is yellow. This is yellow. Why it did blue? I don't know why it did blue. Okay, but it's yellow now. So now we're looking at it. It says, take thou also unto thee principal spices. I want you to understand what he's talking about. Principal spices. This is talking about the best of things. This is principal things. This is the best of things. Pure myrrh, 500 shekels, including the sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels, including of sweet calamus, 250 shekels. This is talking about you're going to get the best of things. These are the best spices, the pure myrrh, and all these things, which also ties us right completely to Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 14. And you're going to see these are precious things. Watch how these are choice things. Oh, this one blue too. I do apologize. I thought I didn't know this. It's just in yellow. Well, I guess, okay. But we see it here. It says, for the precious fruits, see these precious fruits we know are works. So it's saying the precious fruits brought forth by the Son. By the Son. We're going to get all this understanding in 1 second. And it says, and for the precious things put forth by the moon. We gotta unravel all of it. All of this we're going to unravel, because we know the precious fruits is talking about the works, but it's brought forth by the sun. Why is it brought by the sun? Because the sun, it shows the light to where we can see it. So we know sun is clearly telling us about, we can see it. So it's going to show us knowledge and understanding on what we see. Because now you can see it. It's not in the dark. So we have knowledge and understanding. If it's a brick in front, we have knowledge and understanding. It's a brick in front, we know to step over the brick or walk around the brick. Same thing. Including to put forth by the moon. The moon, it comes under a couple of different ones, but here it's talking about the remembrance of sin. Same thing with the brick. If we sit there and we walk and we trip over the brick, it's your own dang fault. You knew the brick was there. You knew the brick was there. But you have a lot of people who sit there and walk, well, God to protect me. God showed you light to show you to walk around the brick and step over the brick. But you sitting there, no, I'm going to kick the brick. And if I fall, God going to protect me. No, God's sitting there saying, boo-boo, you did that yourself, boo-boo. That's what he's going to tell you. But we got to look at it all together. So now we know what this is saying. Now we know what it's saying. So it's remember it's sin, but it's the chief, it's the guide. And the main thing is what it's going to help us do is a couple of things. Well, let's look at this in verse, let's look at this a little bit closer as we go. We want verse 15 because we want to see some more and get this there. And this is where we're going to clear up a lot of stuff because he's going to give us more clarification based on this moon. To remember, it says, including for the chief things, this is the guide. It's the guide things of the ancients. The ancients is talking about elders of old tradition. That's what it's about. So we can look at this of the ancients, these elders, traditions of old. You can even put it that way. The chief things. So these are the principal things of the ancient mountains. In the mountains is the sanctuaries on which they use. Are you with me? And we seeing this, and it said, for the precious things of the lasting hills. These are the things, the lasting hills. We understand what the lasting talking about, but we know lasting is talking about stable and will endure. Those hills are those images that we see. Those are the lasting hills. Those hills is something that's going to endure, but those images is something that we can see. But you still got to remember when we're talking about things of God. Remember what we said from the beginning. We was holding on things of God. Things of God. So God tells us where it clears it right here in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Because it's things of God. And we're going, let me do this last one, you guys. Let's do the last one, and it's still right there. But let's do our due diligence. And it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. This is things of God. So we using the lasting hills as the image. Things that are not seen, but they're evidences of those images. Actually, I want to tell you what, let's look at something. I'm going to show you something to where they help us out. Because we have to do this in John chapter 14, I know. We want verse 10. Yeah, verse 10. Watch what it says here. So now why I thought this, what is going on here? Why did that do that? Because I know I changed it. It says, believest thou not that I am in the Father and the Father in me? The words that I speak, those are the things, those are the fruits that we need to be producing. The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the work. Those are the evidence of things not seen. We should see that. We should see that there. We got to keep this with us. And those are the things to where the faith. So we have to have the faith in the faith over here where it's telling us about. Now faith, the trust and belief, is the substance of things hoped for with that expected outcome, that desired outcome we're looking for. And for the evidence of things not seen. That's why he's making sure it's clear there. It's clear there. So that's the evidence that we have. Those are the principal things. What is the principal things again? The knowledge and understanding of them. Everybody with me? That's the knowledge and the understanding of them. So if we had a knowledge and understanding of them, that's why he tells us right here in verse 11, and we're going to clear it in 1 second. It says, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. So we have to trust and believe what he has told us in his word, and we believe what he told us in his word. We're going to produce those work, and those are going to be our first fruit that we bring forth. Everybody with me? Everybody with me on that? I want to make sure everybody is with me on that before we move forward, but we're going to know those are principal things. The principal things is having a knowledge and an understanding and the wisdom of God. And I want to make sure we all understand that together. We all got to understand this together. So So we're going to move forward as we're going through. So most people, we got people going through yes, good. And if you get a hiccup, let me know, because then we can open up Zoom afterwards. But if we don't get no no's, then we wouldn't go to Zoom. But if we get some no's, I will go to Zoom to where we can make sure we can clarify it. But right now we have everybody with a yes. That's beautiful. So now we're going to look a little bit deeper to do these principles. And when you're holding on to a principle, we got to look at a couple of things. We got to look at a couple of dynamics that happen when you're holding on to the principles of God. The principles of God. We got to look at a couple of things that's going to happen. Let's look at those. We're going to see some of it in Ephesians. We're going to drive over here to Ephesians chapter 2, and we're going to look at verse 19 and pick it up there, and we're going to see what's happening. And we're going to see here. It's turning right back blue. I don't know what's going on, you guys. And it's that color. Let me see. Hopefully this, I don't know why it's doing that. It's saying, now for that reason, ye are no more strangers, including foreigners. And now, what do you know more strangers or foreigners? Two. See, you have to look at this in a twofold, because now you are no more strangers nor foreigners. You understanding the principles of God. Everybody stay with me on that. You got to understand what he's saying. So now we know, if we understand the principles of God, we are no longer strangers. We're no longer foreigners in what the substance is, the evidence of the things not seen. Yeah, thank you, Brother Watson. Yeah, you see what I'm saying. You no longer a stranger or foreigner of the substance of the things not seen. You're no longer a stranger of that, because you know it, because you're holding on to the principles. Now, what he's telling us, it says, but, fellow citizens with the saints, including of the household of God. Now you becoming a citizen of God. Why? Because you understand the principal things that is required in the kingdom. That's the difference. It's all based on principles of God, seeking the wisdom, the salvation, and you're no more strangers. So right now, what end up happening once you renewing the mind, and we doing this in our spirit, now we become a stranger and a sojourner in this world. You see how the switch come up? We can't be a foreigner here and a foreigner in the kingdom of God. We can't be a citizen here and be a citizen in the kingdom of God. We cannot have dual citizenship. He's not going to allow it. We can't be serving God and mammon. He's not going to allow it. So either we're going to be a citizen in the kingdom of God, or we're going to be a citizen in this world. You can think about it, but you make the choice. You can clearly make the choice. Exactly the point. You got to lose one to gain the other. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to lose one to gain the other one. That's the point. That's the whole point of this. So then, now once you lose the one and you gain the other one, now you become a stranger and sojourner here. You're an alien here. And that's why they treat you the way they treat you. It's hard to take, but that's why you would get treated the way we treat it. But you become one of the pillars as a saint. You become one of the promised ones as being faithful to God. It has its benefits, but we have to endure these things that's here. Let's look at something, and let's go down to verse 20. And it says, ye are built upon the foundation of the apostles, including prophets. You see how that happened? So now we are built up on the foundation of the apostles, these messengers, these ambassadors, to bringing you the word. And we are the foundation. The foundation is the covenant in the pillar. So that's the covenant, is the foundation in the pillar, and we got to hold on to that. And the apostles or the ambassadors that is sent in the prophets, being the mouths of Yahweh, But I'm going to show you something that mixes a lot of people up. But we're going to get this real simple, because most people see this and it says Yahweh Shai the Messiah or Jesus Christ, but it's not talking about nowhere close to a man. The man not even involved in this because everything is spiritual. But people see this literally, they think it's a man, but he's talking about salvation of the anointed way himself being the chief cornerstone. So you can sit there and say salvation of the anointed one himself being the chief cornerstone. You can even look at it that way, because when you say the chief cornerstone, the chief is the main guy. The stone is the belief. So it's telling us right here, if we keep the doctrine of Jehovah, not including and forsaking his covenant, as what he told us, now we got to look at this a little bit better and a little bit deeper, because now we're being as children towards Jehovah, and we attend to the instructions as one will be to a father. And then we have to retain them and keep them as to know the doctrine of Jehovah, which is a good doctrine, which he gives. And if he does that, then we're going to hold on to salvation of the anointed way, or salvation of the anointed one himself being the chief cornerstone, being the main one of the main guide of belief. That's what he did. This is what he did. But he's got a little bit more. We're going to pull a little bit more. We're going to pull just a tad more here. We're going to pull a tad more here. It might turn back blue, but we don't know. It stays that way. It says, in whom all the building fitted framed together. That's a beautiful thing. Fitted framed together. Now what we have to do, we want to unpack some of that. We're going to unpack some of that, but make sure if you get lost, please let me know, to where, just like I said, we don't want nobody lost, but some people going to get lost. But if you get lost, don't worry about it. But we got to understand it. So as it's saying here, in whom building fitly, meaning with a helpmeet. Most people sitting there, that's helpmeet. Yeah, that's what that's telling you. It has a helpmeet. And it says, even from the beginning, because we're going to see, it says fitly together, framed to grow unto the holy temple in the Creator. It's crazy, ain't it? But it's not as crazy once we understand how the Bible runs. We're going to see how this all runs. This is why we see this here in Isaiah. Isaiah says something real interesting that most people always look over, and we try to hold it to Jesus, the man. We try to hold it to him, but we're going to see how this actually works. That's why I say this text over here in Proverbs is real interesting today. But in 9:6 in Isaiah, it's telling us clearly here. It says, for unto us a child is born. Now, I'm going to try to go slow so won't nobody get lost. I'm going to try to go slow so nobody won't get lost. Because we see here, unto us a child is born. Now, I want everybody to do me a favor. Everybody do me a favor. As it says, for unto us a child is born. Now, everyone who has children, you can see them. I want everybody to stay with me. But now, as you see the child, look at the child, and now I want you to take that in your mind. Close your eyes. Don't y'all stop looking. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Don't stop looking. Close your eyes and take the child that is born of you, and I want you to change it to a way that they will go. So now you're going to change it to ways. So if you don't do something, it can grow wild or it can grow based on the way you train it up. So remove the child, look at ways it can go. You can either go left or you can go to the right. And y'all open your eyes for a second and just put in, yeah, you get it. Because I told you, keep your eyes closed. But right now, just put in yes if you get it, because we want to make sure nobody get lost. We got to make sure nobody getting lost here. But that's how I want you to see it. So now the child is moved, and now we're looking at it's a way. It's a way. Remove the child, it's a way. It's either going to be good or bad. It's going to be good or bad. Now, once you got it in there, close your eyes again. I don't want you to see it again. I just want you to hear me. I just want you to hear me, because I don't want you trying to look at something else another way. I want you to close your eyes and just get what I'm saying, and then we can open our eyes again and we'll get it. So now, unto us this way is born. Remember what's happening here. So if this way is born, it's coming from the ground. Think about that. That way is coming from the ground. That's the catch. Now, it's saying this child, and any child, and it's coming from the ground, we know it is going to die. That's clear. We know this. Keep your eyes closed. Don't open your eyes. Once you put in yes, close your eyes. So we know this is going to die because it's coming from the ground. But the catch is what we said from the beginning. You have to be willing to give up this life. You see, you got to give up something. You got to be willing to give up this life. That child is willing to bring, and if we don't do anything to it, we got to be willing to give this child up. We got to be willing to give that way up. We got to give it up. And then we have to pick up from what he's going to offer. You guys with me? So now we're going to take something else. So now let's look at that all together. So now it says, unto us, this way is born. And you already know what that way is. I tell you what, don't make me bring up a story. I bring up a story 1519 on me and my brother. I can show you our way. Me and him was professional thieves for a good 3 hours. Professionals. We were good at it, but we got caught. We were good for about 2 hours. But the same thing is, we came up with a way, and our mom and dad and uncles and our grandfather beat it out of us. Beat that way right out of us. That's the catch. So what was doing and what we doing, now we're going to see something else. Unto us a servant, a son is given. That's the helpmeet. That's the helpmeet that's given to us. So remove the physicalness of the child, but keep in mind it's a direction it's going to go. But now he's going to fitly put it together. He's going to fitly frame it together to where it can grow together, to where now with this helpmeet is going to guide us where we need to go. It's going to guide us on how to grow correctly. That's what it's doing. So we got to look at it with Jehovah, and he promised you and what he promised us. He promised you eternal life if providing. Actually, let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Show you something just coming, but let's look at something. Let's look at John chapter 10, verse 17. John 10, verse 17. Thinking about it, might well look at it. It says, therefore do my Father promise me. We got to remove love and know what it means. So he promised me, because I lay down my life, it was born from the ground. Flesh and blood of that way cannot inherit the kingdom of God of eternalness. Keep that in mind. So if we try to live the way according to the flesh, that ways according to the flesh cannot go into the ways of God. Yeah, that's common sense right there. That's a common sense statement on where it gets it. So what he's telling us, dude, therefore the Father loved me. He promised me because I lay down my life that I might take it up again. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's what we're looking for. So if we live in according to the flesh, we know it has an end to it. It's an end to it. I want you to keep that in mind. It's an end to that. But if we lay down this life, we just go ahead and end it. We just end it. We just going to be a living sacrifice. And then we live through Christ. We can have a chance to pick it up again on an eternal side. That's what he's talking about. So living this life in the flesh, it always has the end. And in this life that we produce, all life that we produce always have an end. The child is born. This way is born. This way of the child is born. But the Father promised us a salvation if we seek to go another way. But you know, a lot of us have a lot of issues. A lot of us have a lot of issues when we do things. A lot of us have a lot of issues to do things because we're not looking at the wisdom of God. We don't look at the wisdom of God And that's where our problem becomes, because what we do, we get too smart. We get way too smart for our britches. Way too smart for our britches. I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna show you right in scripture. We as a whole, and this is white, black, green, Mesopotamian, pink, turquoise. We get too smart for our britches. Way too smart. It says this here, and it says, "For a father afflicted with an untimely mourning, he had made he had made an image of his child, soon taken away." His child, his way was taken away. Baby kid. We baby kids. We still want to go that way. We still, no matter, for a father, we done created a way that we want to go. We created this child, and since it had an untimely mourning in this image, and it was soon taken away. So once this child was taken away, we get mad. I'm telling you, we get mad, get upset, kick all over the floor, boo-hoo all day, all day long, trying to get your way. That's what we do. And it tells us this, and this is what goes on. See here, he says, soon taken away, and he says, but some of us will not stop. So since we don't stop, and it's telling you, soon taken away, now honor him. You're going to honor that way as a god. We're going to make that way an idol. We gonna look at that as a god. Are you serious? This is us. I'm talking about, this is us 101. This is us 101. Soon taken away, soon as, no, you can't play with this. Okay, I'm going to honor that as a god. Hey, come on, let's go play. What? They told us don't do it. No, come on. We honoring this as a god. Which was then a dead man. Tell me we don't do it. I say you guys a liar. And I can't even find guys a liar nowhere in the book. Soon as we take away our way that we want to keep going, all of a sudden we make an idol out of it. We're going to honor it as a god. You tell me we don't do it. Tell me we don't do it. I'm going to prove the point in a second, because you're going to see the point in here. Let's look at this. Let's look at it. It says, including delivered to those who were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Ceremonies and sacrifices. It's sad to say, we do according to our lifestyles in the flesh. So think about this, what we do in the flesh, and it's not forever. See, men think he can live forever. I'm going to show it to you. I want to show you something. We think we can live forever. I'm telling you, we do this like clockwork. We do this like clockwork. And we're going to go to Genesis chapter 3, but I want to pick it up at verse 22. We're picking it up right here, right there. We want that. It says, the Spirit of God said, remember, you take man away. Take man away, everybody. Take man away. In whatever screen name you use, if you're using your name or screen name, I want you to say, remember, whatever your name is become as one of us. That's because that's you. So remember, Michael is become as one of us. That's what that's saying. It's becoming one of you. That's what we do. Take all that out. Take everything. Take man out. Put you there. Because that's what we have done too. This is what we have done. And the only way we can really see the seriousness on what we're doing, we love to sit there and point fingers. We can't. We got to stop pointing fingers and look at what we do. What we do. And we can't look at what we do. Why in the world I'm going to sit there and give you examples about Joe, and I got examples on what I did in my life? Well, I'm going to bring up Joe. It don't make sense. I want to talk about Joe, but I want y'all to look at me like I'm up on this pedestal. I'm telling you, we can't get out our own way. But it's telling us right there, it says, become as one of us to know good and evil. Now at least he put forth his power, including take up the tree of life and learn and live forever. It ain't saying he gonna live forever, but this is what we do. Let me put it where the ghost can get it. So we gonna know this good and evil. So what we do, tell me we don't do it. Just put in there, if you never heard it, just say I never heard it. But tell me we don't do this. We make all these devices. Look, all you have to do, turn the TV on. We make all these devices that have put 5, 10, 15 years on your life. Tell me what, turn the TV on. I show you your life. You say you never seen it. We make pills. Take this pill, you'll live for another 20, 30, 40 years. I'm telling you, we good at doing this stuff. We good at doing this stuff. And we so good at doing it, we can't help it. We cannot help this. We do it all day long. We do this. Oh, take this pill, you do this, and we're going to live another 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. I'm telling you, we can't get out our own way. We done learn good and evil. Now, guess what? We gonna make this, and we gonna live another 50 years. It's just funny when we think about it. If you think about how we think, in this telling you, we now have that in our power. So we had this tree, this doctrine of life, and we learning from it to where we think we're going to live forever. And we are flesh, and our days has a maximum number of 120 years. Has a maximum number of 120 years. Now, the craziest thing is you do have some people who was verified. We had this Gerald Kim Ruro, I believe that's his name. He lived to be 116. I have a cousin who lived to be 104. And she just passed last year. Yeah, some people lived 118. Got a few people who lived 113. But we have to understand what we're dealing with. We have to understand what we're dealing with. He said, now, my spirit ain't gonna roll with them all the time. Actually, you see, he actually talks about it. We'll put it up there. And we got to go to 6 and 3. We need 6 and 3. I'm in 3 looking for 6, but we got to go to 6 and 3. And you see, he says it here. It went back blue. It says, the Spirit of the Lord said, my spirit will not always fight with man. He's not always going to strive with it. He's not always going to fight with it. For that, he is also flesh. Exactly the point. He's flesh. We are 100% flesh. 100% bona fide, purebred flesh is what we are. So he said he ain't going to fight with that. He ain't got time for it. For that, he is also flesh, and yet his days shall be 120 years. 120 years. So we're born the ways that is not good. We're born not the ways that is not good. So we have to take that child. Remember the child is a way. We have to take that and we have to train it. We have to take that and train it, meaning we have to just lay it down. We have to lay down that life. We have to lay it down. And we'll find this over here in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child, train up a way in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You got to train this child up. See, not letting this grow up and becoming wild. Because we got to be aware, we got to teach our children. These are fruits of works. Children. Children is the fruits and its works. Your followers, disciples, got many other little contexts of ways you can put it spiritually, but children is fruits. These are fruits of works. So we got to train this way up and not let it grow wild. Not let this thing grow wild. I want to show you something. Let's look at something. We're going to see something. Let's go to Ezekiel. I want to show you something in Ezekiel. We're going to see this Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 29. 18, verse 29. There. Here. Right here. Scripture says, yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Creator is not equal. No. That's why he's telling us we have to lay down our life and take up his life. The way of the Creator is not equal. His way is not equal. So if the way is the principal thing, then his way is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my ways equal and not your ways unequal? He's asking you the question. Is your way equal to his? Tell you what we do. We're good at doing it. We're good at doing it. And see, and people have an issue because we have to look at it for what we do. We're not here to sit there, throw rocks at this person, that person. No, I'm throwing rocks at us. I'm throwing rocks at me. I'm showing you what we do as a whole. Is not where the Creator is not equal? No, it's not equal to ours. Our ways to his ways is, I'm done. It's unequally what they. You got to be unequally yoked. Yeah, Yeah, you 100% unequally yoked with the Creator. %100% unequal. In fact, let's look at something. Let's look at something. You know, we have a lot of people, they love to throw rocks at everybody else but themselves. Love to throw rocks at everybody else but themselves. This is why some of the worst places you can go get any kind of doctrine is inside of a church building. And it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways, said the Spirit of God. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your ways are not my ways. We're not equal. We're not anything. But I promise you, you got some people out there going to sit there and tell you all their ways is that way. All their ways. And the main thing is, what did it say? Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. Get you some knowledge of God. Get some knowledge of God. What is our problem? I'm telling you, we can't get out our own way. We cannot get out our own way. We think we're gods. We need to align our ways with God, period. Not sitting there trying to, oh, well, God ways this way, but let me do my way a little bit this way. No, stop that. Stop that. We need to be teaching our children to be followers of Christ. This is what we need to be teaching our children, period. To be followers of Christ. Let's go a little bit more. Let's look at this a little bit more. In Deuteronomy chapter 6. And we're going to drop down. We're going to look at 6, but we're going to pick up 2 verses there. We're going to look at 6 and 7. Turn back blue again, you guys. I do not know why this thing is doing this. And this is... It says, these are the words which command thee this day shall be in thy heart. These things have to be in your heart. They have to be. Okay, it has to be in our heart because, one, we got to remember a couple of things. Unto us, a way is born. Unto us. That's why our imaginations is wicked. Unto us, a way is born. Every imagination of the heart is continually what? Wicked. Just evil. So unto us, a way is born. So these things need to be in our heart because that's what's going to happen. Then it says, in this born, it's telling when it's born, it's talking about something that's begotten. But unto us, a servant is given. See, a servant is given. These are the words of Jehovah. We need to learn to promise, to love, to promise. Promise him to learn his way, that these things may be in our hearts, in our minds, in our soul. These things should be there. Shouldn't have no problem. But let's go down a little bit more. Let's go down a little bit more. You see, he's saying this. And it's telling, it says, so unto us a child is born, and these things, it should be in our heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. Including shall talk to them when thou sittest in the house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, when thou risest up. We got to train this dang child. We got to train our way. Our way is jacked up. Our way is of the earth. Our way is of the ground. Flesh and blood, period, is not going into the kingdom of God, including the way of the world is not going to the kingdom. Get that through our heads. We got to get this through our thick, hard-headed bodies. Our ways is not his ways. So if we have that thought and we think we're going to get there, no, we have a problem. We're going to have a serious problem with that because we're not going to get there. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And same thing as it says. A father had an untimely morning when he made an image of his child soon taken away. That security blanket that you like. We have to mortify this flesh and stop trying to glorify this image that is going to die anyway. But now we got some people, no matter what, they're going to honor it as a god, even though it's flesh. And the same thing is, we're going to make these ceremonies. See what it's talking about? It says, under them ceremonies and sacrifices, these new established covenants, we're going to do ceremonies and sacrifice. This is why you see, I tell you what, a lot of people do it. They're going to celebrate their birthdays. What you celebrating a birthday? You're going to die. Every day that you celebrate a birthday, you celebrating closer to death that you're getting. That's what you're celebrating. You're celebrating the death date. Oh, I'm 20. Yeah. 20 years closer to the grave. I'm 30. Yeah, you're 30 years closer to the grave. I'm 60. You're 60 years closer to the grave. And you done took this and you done made it laws. You vowed to it. Over time, these customs, they grew strong, and then we start worshiping it, showing respect to it. And now it's almost where it's commanded by kings, which in some places it is commanded by kings, these rulers. It's pure silliness. Pure silliness on what we do. This is the biggest problem we have. We continually do things like this and have no problems. Oh, it ain't nothing wrong with doing a birthday. It ain't no wrong with doing this birthday. Really? Now we worship it and we're respecting it as if it's a law. And then people sitting there, well, it's no harm. Keep thinking it's no harm. See, when he tells you, I never knew you, try to argue with him. He's not having it. Argue with him. I didn't think it was that bad. To you, it wasn't that bad. You want to go celebrate your birthday when you was born, when you should have been learning how to get into this dang kingdom. I'm telling you, we cannot get out our own way. It's impossible. Impossible thing. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, we're going to look at verse 25. I want to go here. I want to show you something, make sure we really all understand this together. In verse 25, it's telling us something. And it's clear. 100% clear. Turn blue. Turn blue. Turn blue. I wonder if I do this. Let me do that. And hopefully that'll stop it. Let me see. So let me see if that's going to stop it. I don't know, but I'm just trying something. And I want you to see something. It says, because the foolishness of God is wiser than man. The foolishness of God is wiser than men. And the weakness of God is stronger than men. The words of God, just the words of God, seem to be foolish to men. But they're wiser than men. Including the weakness of God, whatever it is stronger than all men. Whatever it is. So the principle of having wisdom of God, you have just the wisdom of God, you're stronger and wiser than any man. You're stronger and you're wiser than any man. Just with the wisdom of God. They're going to take it as foolishness. For you see the calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. I'm telling you. Why? Because we can't get out of our own way. See, sin is in when you sit there, call your appointed brethren, talking about these companions, these countrymen. And the main thing is, when you sit there, it's why it's saying brethren. Why it's holding on to that? Because we're all born from the same womb. Israel is from the same womb. The children of Israel is coming from the same womb, coming from the womb of Sarah. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what. Let's make sure we clear on something. Because some people might want to say something. Everybody from that, no, it's not the truth. I'm gonna show you the truth. Because everybody in this world is not from Sarah. But I'm gonna show you the truth. And it says it here. It says, but God said unto Abraham, comparing for Sarai, thy wife shall not be called her way Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And here's why. Including I will bless her and give the son also of her. And I will bless her, and she shall be the mother of nation, kings, people shall be of her. So this is why it's saying this. Not many wise after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noblemen are called. This is interesting. Because it's mighty talking about the great, but then the noble is talking about the precious and renowned are called or appointed. Because we know clear as day in Scripture, few are chosen. It's the weak things in the world, and then it will confuse the things that are strong. Things that people throw away and don't want to use and despised of people is seeked after by God. Speaking of these evil things, explain even how the world is today. Know one thing, and understand one particular thing. And the same with what I say. I tell people in a heartbeat, in person. See, I know what I teach. I know exactly what I teach. And on top of that, many people have never heard this even doctrine before, or how it's ran on anything. But this doctrine is not even mine. People say, oh, he's good. No, the doctrine I'm doing is not mine. That don't have nothing to do with the doctrine. Absolutely nothing. You see it in your own Bible yourself, so you know it's not mine. But one thing I did do, I presented my body as living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, and he showed me the eternity and was the key for me to understand this. So now me just being a mouthpiece of God, and he has chose the foolishness of this world, someone like me, someone just like me. To talk to his people. For people who seeking the way, Christ, the anointed one of Jesus or salvation. Let's look at something. You'll see this. Let's go down to 1 Corinthians. Let's get down here a little bit. I'm going to show you something. Let's get here. It says, but of him ye are in Christ Jesus, the anointed way of salvation, whom God is made unto us wisdom, is the principal thing. Wisdom is the principal thing we need to know. In righteousness and sanctification and redemption. You see how he cleared all this up? Because the wisdom is the righteousness and sanctification, but seeking redemption, and meaning that's the redemption is the firstborn of the adoption. That's the redemption. That's the firstborn of the adoption. Let's look at something. Just look at something. Because he's making everything clear. It says that comparing as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Creator. That's who you glory in. That's who you glory in. This is why it's so important. It's 100% important. why you don't change up nothing in this book. You do the book, you run the book the way it's supposed to be ran. You don't run the book where people have sitting there, they take a verse and then they proceed to tell you everything about, I'm trying to build this place, I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, I need to do this, you guys need to give me that, y'all need to do this. That's the silliest, stupidest stuff we can ever see, but all of us sat in it. We all sat there and watched this silliness go on and believed it. And then what they did, he already said, anyone change any of these words in this book, you're going to pay for it. Actually, we're going to tell you what, let me run this and let's look at it. Let's look at it. We're going to go to the back of the book, Revelation chapter 22, picking it up at verse 18. He tells us this, and make sure this is clear for each and every one of us to where we'll get it. And many of us was caught up in it, and many of us just getting out of it. It says, I testify unto every man, man or woman, that hears the words of this prophecy, not prophecy with the S, is with a C. It's with a C. Two different things. Prophecy with an S is talking about teaching. Prophecy with the C is talking about the mysteries of the future. Revelations. That's the difference right here. Most people won't even, they'll see one with an S, one with a C, and they'll think it's one of it's interchangeable. Yeah, just interchangeable. You can interchange that. No, that's stupidity. But we was caught up in this silliness. And he said, the prophecy of this book, so the revelations in the revealing of these mysteries of this book, providing any man should add unto these things, God should add unto him plagues that are written in this book. And if any man should take away from the words of this book of this prophecy, these revelations and everything in there, God shall also take away his part of the book of life, because it ain't gonna exist. It don't exist in that world. And he said this in the law. Actually, I'm gonna show it to you before we run out of here. So many people sit there, they thinking they can do something and hold on to something, and they just think they got everything. And we'll see this in Deuteronomy chapter 12, picking it up at verse 32. We'll see something. It says, what things soever I command you, observe to do it, that thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it. You don't do anything. You don't do anything to this. You keep this the way it is. You got to keep that understanding that wisdom is the principle of the things. Therefore, get wisdom. And once you get that wisdom of God, you get some understanding to it. But a lot of people are going to sit there and I'm just going to pray to God and he's going to show me the revelation. Okay, then you do that. Because he told you in Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15, he said, I'm going to give you pastors according to my heart that will feed you with the knowledge and understanding, show you how everything, but I'm going to pray to the Lord, and the Lord going to show me. He's going to show me what I need to know. Go ahead and you do that. You do that. But this is the way it goes. This is the way it goes. So hopefully everybody, I just want to make sure that everybody understand that verse. Well, I told you it was a real particular verse, but if you understand it, good. If not, we will go into Zoom and open that up and we'll get clarification. So I'm just going to wait to see if everybody got it. We're good. We'll leave it there. But if you don't, we'll go in Zoom and we'll get the clarification. So thus far, we got people get it. So we're good. We are good. So with that, the same thing with a couple of changes. What we said from now on, we if you guys and this is for anyone who want to be part of King James Bible University, also with the with Elder Jenkins, he does the Psalms class, and the Psalms class will be going on. I believe they did announce it already, but the Psalms class will be this Sabbath day, and he's been running it every week for a couple of years. So if you want to be part of the Psalms class, you can come in there. Your camera don't need to be on. Just come in there, and you're more than welcome to participate. And once you get back there, that Bible study is hot and heavy. But it'll be this Sabbath day. You can go right to kjbu.org, and hopefully one of the sisters put that link up there. And you'll see kjbu.org. You'll see Psalms Bible Study at the top. You see it. You'll see the ID number and the numbers you need to get in there. You click on it. It'll be at 6 o'clock. If you're in Pacific Standard Time, it'll be at 8 o'clock if you're in Central Time, and it'll be at 9 o'clock if you're in Eastern Time. And if you're over there, make sure you get over there, because I'm going to tell you, that's a good class, and a lot of people, to get over there, you got a lot of meat hanging out over there. So if you want to be part of it, no reason to turn your camera on, because we done eliminated all that. We just eliminated it all. So you can go over there, and if you want to be part of it, go in that class and get some of that meat that's on that plate. So with that, I say to each and every person that's going through here, hopefully we have learned a lot on what we need to do to where we can be one of the ones that he's seeking in these last days. And the same thing, I appreciate Sister Larry. She put that up there, letting people know, and they put in the link and also telling you what it is and how you can get inside the class. But the one thing you will need Zoom. So if you don't have a Zoom app, make sure you have a Zoom app. Because if you don't have a Zoom app, you ain't going to be able to get in there. But you do need that. But not requiring to have your camera on. But now you might read. You don't have to read, but this is a back and forth. It's a interactive where he do look for people to read with him, and he get understanding as right at the end. So make sure everybody is clear. So if you want to make sure you're part of it, make sure you book that. And you can go over to KJBU right now. You can actually see it there. So with that, I say to each and every person, until next time. I appreciate that everybody was here, and hopefully that we continue to move forward on what the scriptures have to say. So with that, I say to each and every person, until next time, Shalom.